Ew.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hello.
Woo.
Come on in, everyone.
Have a seat.
Find a chair
Find a chair.
and then sit in that chair. That's how sitting works.
Yep. Sit.
I don't know why this is literally like every single time I do announcements. I'm always like, find a chair, and then I feel like I have to make a joke about that. And it's been a year and a half, and I've run out of jokes about finding a chair to sit in.
Finding a chair.
Find a chair.
Find a chair that no one is sitting in.
Yes, ideally that no one's sitting in.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Molly's got the good fit. Well,
Is
welcome
that
everyone.
flannel sweatshirt
Welcome everyone.
weather?
I feel like we're missing some people. I know we have more friends here that aren't here yet. They're maybe still in their growth group. Maybe that's happening. Well, we'll get this party started. Hello, my name is Nathan.
My name is Molly.
And welcome to Redeemer Youth. Who's excited to be here tonight? Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes. Very good crowd.
Great
Good crowd tonight. All right, let's get through the announcements, and then we'll get to the fun stuff.
All right.
So we got some fun stuff today.
Our first announcement is about our offering. So we give because... Awesome. That was good. So our offering is going to Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. And if you've never heard of them before, they are a organization that helps with overcoming addiction. So it's a really, really great organization. And so if you do have an offering, you can put it in that black box over there by that table.
And we've been raising this money all semester.
Yep.
And I got an update on how much we've raised so far, not including what's been given tonight. We've raised $164.92.
Wow.
So that's pretty good. We were shooting for 200.
200.
We're close.
And then if we get that, Nathan will learn a TikTok dance.
And so that was what we brought up. And since we're very close, we're going to add some extra tiers.
Yeah.
For every $100 after that, another leader will have to do the dance with me. We'll start with Molly, and then we'll add other leaders of your choice. Maybe Josh, maybe Abby, maybe Baco. We'll see. Raise a lot of money, we'll get everybody involved.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Now, I also want to give you guys an update. We don't normally get updates, but we have an update from last year's offering. See, a year ago, we were raising money. Does anyone remember what we were raising money for a year ago? Mom Saving of Hope, that's right. Mom Saving of Hope, it's an organization that helps young single moms, and we were raising money to help them build a home that these young single moms could live in right across the street over there. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they've started construction. So whenever you guys see that, we can make some noise for that. It's exciting. So whenever you guys look at that, if you helped donate to offering a year ago, know that the construction that's happening over there is thanks to your support. So that's pretty cool. You don't normally get to see the result of your offering.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. What's our next announcement?
A Q&A that's happening 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today, that's right.
That's awesome. So if you have questions about mental health, anything like that, you can write them down over there by that black table and put them in the box.
Yep, put them in the offering box too, yep.
Or you can text that number and whatever question you want.
Yeah, 763-250-7994.
And it will be anonymous, so it can be any question.
200. That was the last one. That was the old one.
Text your questions in and then come here in 2 weeks from now to hear your friend...
My friend Caleb, yep.
Caleb.
And me answering the questions. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you've got questions of any kind, they can be serious, they can be silly, they can be about Jesus and the Bible, they can be about other stuff, text them in or write them down if you don't have a phone and put them in the box, and they will be anonymous, and we will answer as many as we possibly can, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So be here in 2 weeks, and invite your friends. I know you got friends who ask questions. Who here has a friend that is always asking questions? Raise your hand. Yes. Invite that friend to the Q&A.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't know the answer, but they might. And then I'll try to answer.
It'll be a very fun night.
Very exciting. Now, we also have another announcement that is kind of like the whole church, and it is that Redeemer is going on a mission trip to Mexico. Who here has been on this trip before? Has anyone here been on that trip? A couple people? Yes. It is a lot of fun. I've been on this trip before. You guys are going to go down to Mexico, and you're going to help build a house for a family who needs a house. And so maybe even two if we get enough people to go. So I'm sure you got a lot of questions like, what does that look like? How much does it cost? What will we do? So a week from today, November 20th, after church at noon, there will be a meeting where they will answer your questions. It's an informational meeting. So you can come, you can bring your parents to that, you can bring your friends to that. If you got questions, I highly recommend checking this out because this is a really, really cool opportunity to help serve some people, to help change some people's lives. Because these homes that we build for them, it changes everything. It's a really cool experience. A lot of fun. You can go with your group, you can go with your family. It's a lot of fun. There will be people to help you with translating. So there will be people who live there who help us translate between Spanish and English. So good question. You can ask questions like that at the meeting, and they will also help you with that. So check out the meeting.
You can start learning Spanish, too.
Yeah, or you can start learning Spanish now, I suppose. That's an option, too. Yeah, you got time. The mission trip will be next spring. Next spring. So... Now, I also have another announcement that most of you probably don't care about, but for those who watch online is more important. We have created a new YouTube channel for Redeemer Youth. It's called RedeemerMN_Youth. And that is where we are going to be streaming all of our online services exclusively starting next year. So right now we're streaming on both, the Redeemer one and the youth one. But then starting next year, it's only going to be the Redeemer youth one. And it's also going to be where we upload all of our camp videos and all of our silly videos will be on there. So if you want to subscribe to that, you can.
Do it.
And what kind of stuff will they find on that YouTube channel?
You might find some fun videos of eating some hot stuff.
Eating spicy food. Yeah, eating a lot of spicy food. In fact, maybe we should show them what they might find on that YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So check out this video.
It's a good one.
Hello, Redeemer Youth. I'm Nathan.
I'm Molly.
And are Carolina Reaper snacks actually that hot?
We're gonna find out.
Friends, if you've been to Redeemer Youth for a while, you know that we like to make spicy videos for some reason. I've done a couple. I ate a Carolina Reaper pepper. Some of you enjoyed that, and you requested more. And so instead of just doing the same thing again, we found some different snacks that claim to have Carolina Reaper peppers in them. Now, y'all know my reputation. I've eaten a Carolina Reaper pepper. Molly, have you eaten spicy food before?
I have, but I think the spiciest thing was probably a jalapeno.
A jalapeno.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pepper. It's a pepper. So what we're going to be doing, we got 4 different snacks that all have Carolina Reaper on the packaging and in the ingredients. They are in the ingredients list. And we don't know actually how hot they are. Again, that's the whole experiment. And so we're going to eat them in what we think is the least spicy based on where the Carolina pepper shows up on the ingredients list. All right, here we go.
Cheers.
Definitely sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. I could definitely eat more of that. I feel some spice in my mouth.
Mm-hmm. I can feel it in my throat.
Yep. Oh, yep. Just hit my throat. But I'm not. Well, I should probably stop. Oh no. Okay, it's a slow one. Oh no. That's a slow build. That creeps up on you.
Mm-hmm.
But I could eat more though. I'm not at a point where I'm like, I like it. The flavor is good. The sweetness really helps. But I like this. I'm probably going to eat more of that afterwards. I enjoyed this. Molly, I think we gotta give it a ranking. 1 to 10. 1 being not spicy at all. 10 being the hottest thing. What would you rank this?
Like 4.
I was thinking the same thing. Maybe 4. It's definitely got some kick to it, but you could probably get this and enjoy it. So I recommend. Flamin' Sweet Carolina Reaper Cheetos. Not that hot. All right, everyone. Our next item we've got here is Pepper Joe's Reaper Snack Sticks. So it's some pork and beef snack sticks. This one has Carolina Reaper listed under the contains 2% or less of section. So it's mainly beef and pork and salt.
All right.
Smells good.
Does smell good.
I'm excited. All right, here we go. Tastes like beef stick. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that takes a minute. Now, it's hard to tell how spicy it is because I already have spice in my mouth. Oh, no. I found it.
Oh, yeah. It's good though.
That's good. It's a good beef stick. And it has more Carolina Reaper flavor. I can taste it.
Yeah, I feel it.
Bro, this one I'm feeling here. Yeah. This one's got some more to it.
I feel it everywhere.
Yeah, this one's definitely spicy. Definitely harder than the Cheetos.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Molly, you gonna be okay.
I think so.
See, are those tears coming?
Yeah.
That's good. That means you're doing it right. Okay. But I'm coming down now. How are you doing?
Still popping. But I feel like if I would have eaten that first,
Yes.
it might not have been so bad.
But we're layering.
We're layering, so
Yeah.
it makes it much worse. So right now, I'd give that like a 6 out of 10.
I'm feeling the same thing. Definitely hotter, but not the hottest thing. Like I'm still conscious. I'm not tingling, just sniffly and sweaty a little bit. So I'm also gonna go with 6. Yeah. Our next spicy snack, we've got our Blue Diamond Almonds Extremes Carolina Reaper with 4 flame icons saying it's the hottest. And it lists Carolina Reapers as with second ingredient, right after almonds. Ooh, oh, those look spicy. They got that deep orange.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. That's got like a different flavor to it. Some other seasonings. Ooh. I like the taste.
I feel like without the beef stick and the Cheetos, that would be a good snack.
Yeah.
But
It's not making it worse for me.
oh, yeah.
And it's just kind of keeping me where I was before. Now, I'm definitely not freaking out like I did with the beef stick. I could keep going. I think I will keep going. I'm going to keep it. I need some more. Yeah. Yeah, so honestly... Now, okay, so in my head, less than the beef stick. Is it more than the Cheetos? I'll go 3.5. One same?
Yeah.
All right. Carolina Reaper almonds. Not that bad.
Not that bad.
Recommend. All right, the last one we've got, I am concerned about. It is the Sonoran Spice Company Carolina Reaper Pebbles. And it's just this plastic tube of what I think are supposed to be like nerds. Because there's a lot of like sugar ingredients. However, the first ingredient in this terrible container is Carolina Reaper pepper, followed by sugar. Would you think there'd be more sugar in a rock candy? Oh no.
Whoa. Yikes.
All right, Sonoran Spice Company's Carolina Reaper Pebbles going in. Sweet.
Just
Tastes like nerds.
tastes like candy, but oh, I feel it.
And then it comes in. Coughing's bad. Oh no. That's a dry one.
Yeah.
Ooh. I got shivers on that one.
Yeah, that's a burn. Straight in my throat.
The hottest one by far. Ouchie, ouchie. Oh no, hiccup. Oh no. Uh-oh.
Oh, I can feel it everywhere.
That's bad. Ouch. Oh no. Oh, that hurts.
Oh yeah, tears.
That really hurts. Okay, this one's bad. Well, yeah, there's a tear there. I got one here.
Oh,
I'm gonna give that a 9.
I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Well done, Spice Company. Okay, well, overall, I think we could have known too. These ones. We bought these at Target, right? Not a threat. Can only get this one online. And I wouldn't. I would not buy these. Unless you want to cry. Oh, there's the tingles in my hand. This room really is a trauma center for me. Yeah, this is lasting a lot longer than the other ones were.
And it doesn't help that I had a go-go squeeze and a granola bar before
For breakfast?
Yeah. And water.
Wow, it's all on my face now. Wow. It's just my whole body.
Gotta go for the ice cream.
She's going in. Oh, my face. Whoa. That transcended me. I'm in another place right now. Oh, and now it's in the tummy.
Yeah.
Now it's in the tummy.
Yeah, I feel it. Oh yeah, my legs are shaking.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
On a spicy challenge. If you liked it, let us know. I'm gonna keep these actually. If you want to try them, I'll have them in my office. These will be gone. I'll be eating these, and I might still have these. We'll see. They say to keep them refrigerated. So, all right, Redeemer Youth. I think you're gonna be listening to a message. I might be speaking, talking about Jesus. Enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat some ice cream.
All right, that was a good one. Glad I do not have to eat spicy food like that because it would not be good. But now we get to worship, so you can stand, you can come to the front, you can dance, you can sing, you can have a fun time, and yeah, that's all we got. That's all we got. All right. You make it easy to love you. You are good. That's all we got. You can have a seat. That's all she wrote.
Pick a side. Here we go.
All right.
Hello. Hello, everybody. I'm back. I'm back up. All right, we are in a series where we've been talking about mental health. We started that conversation last week. Yeah. Yep, it does spin. Yep. Yeah. And what we want to do during this month as we talk about mental health is that everyone's journey with mental health is different. Everyone's story is different. So we're going to be hearing a lot of different stories throughout this month. Last week, Sarah shared. I'm already got my tongue tied up, which is good because I'm not going to be talking. Alyssa will be. So everyone give it up for Alyssa. She'll be sharing her testimony. And again, a testimony is just your story of how Jesus has changed your life. So, Alyssa, we're talking about mental health. Where does your story start?
Where does my story start? That's a really good question. Sorry, I totally blanked there. Basically, if you were here last week, Sarah kind of shared some of what I wanted to say, but I grew up in a really great house. I have a wonderful family, parents who love me. I went to church 3-4 times a week. I was here all the time. Really had a great life and nothing wrong, nothing traumatic, nothing concerning or no red flags. And it was I was a good kid, had friends. And yet, here I am, and I still struggle with my mental health. But I guess, sorry, this came out a lot more cohesive, really, when I was talking to you. But
You're doing great.
I've been reflecting more on my life and just some things that have happened, and maybe I didn't realize how much of an effect they had on me then, or how I've grown and changed, and some things that I was feeling certain ways, and that's not normal, that's not good, that's not actually healthy. But I didn't know it in the moment because I didn't talk to my friends about mental health. It was not something that us homeschool kids did frequently. Don't laugh.
We didn't talk to friends frequently, so that was
okay. There was
start,
that as
yeah.
well. There was that as well. So when we saw each other, we weren't really talking about our mental health, but. So I thought things were normal, and then turns out they weren't. But also I don't remember a lot of things in my childhood, but I have a vivid memory in middle school where I was talking with these girls, and they were kind of sharing some bad things that had happened in their life, and I don't know, it was you go around the circle type of thing, and I was oh, it's kind of my turn, so I was gonna jump in and say something, and one of the girls cut me off, and she was well, nothing bad has ever happened in your life, so you really don't have anything to say, and kind of just really, I was oh. I guess I can't be upset or stressed ever because nothing bad has ever happened in my life. Okay. It was was very dismissed. It hurt in the moment, and it hurts even more looking back and realizing how little comments like that really do stick with you. And I dismissed most of the negative experiences that I had because I was well, it's not as bad as what other people go through. And there's an extent where it's you got to be grateful for what you do have, but another side where you do have to recognize no, that was really hurtful, or I do get to be sad about that, or I do get to be mad about that because it really did hurt. I don't want to ruminate on things, but yeah. So that was not good. But I guess as I've been diving back into reflecting on my life and going to counseling on and off for the last couple of years, and I'm in nursing school, and so you learn a lot about health, and I've had quite a few classes on mental health and psychology, and I remember we were going over anxiety and how anxiety manifests and what the symptoms are and things like that, and I'm this is not anxiety, that's just life. Everybody's like that all the time. I don't know, that's not anxiety, that's just how life is, that's the way of the world. And to an extent, there's certain things that should make you anxious, and that's good. That's a good thing that your body gets anxious before a big test or before a presentation or before a job interview. Your body does naturally go into fight or flight, and it's a natural good thing that helps you do better in those, but it's not good if you're always feeling like that. And I was always feeling like that. Yeah, just different things like, I think for like 2 years, I took Tums almost every single night because I had stomach aches. Not because of the food I ate or because I was like actually sick, but because I was just so anxious that I would like make myself sick and just get really, really nauseous all the time, always, all the time. And I couldn't sleep over at friends' houses for some reason. Like one day I could, and the next day I was like, actually, no, what if I get really sick? That would be really bad and really awkward and really uncomfortable, so no sleeping at friends' houses. So yeah, it was a weird time, but I didn't realize that was anxiety. I was like, well, I'm just like got a sensitive stomach, you know? This is the way it is. And I'm like, oh, no, I was just a very anxious person. So, yeah.
Yeah, so kind of recap, you've had a great upbringing, and because of that, people were telling you, oh, because you have a great upbringing, you can't be sad, you can't have problems. And so you kind of like internalize that, and you're like, I guess I don't have problems. And it wasn't until you went to school and someone's like, so this is anxiety, and you're like, no, that's just normal. And then they're like, no, that's not normal. Is that you? And you go, yeah, and like, then you have anxiety. And that's helped you like go back and go, oh, this thing I had going on that I thought was also normal, just being sick every night, is not normal. It's not normal to feel sick before you go to bed every night. So now you've realized, oh, that was anxiety. Have there been any other like aha moments that have come through all this?
Yeah, I think there's always growing and changing. And what's interesting to me is that like, okay, I was very active in the church in this time, and I was going to camp, I was coming to youth group and all those things, and was at Sunday school every week. And so it wasn't like I was anxious because I didn't have enough faith. Like that's, I don't know, some people will say things like that, and I'm like, that's really, it's not that I didn't trust Jesus enough, and so then I was anxious about everything. But there was one time at camp where like, I don't know, all those little things where sometimes you're like, this is dumb, but it was actually really cool, where we wrote a fear on a rock and we threw it into the lake. And I was like at an age where I was finally able to be like, okay, I'm gonna not take this as a joke, I'm gonna do it for reals. And I was like petrified of people's judgment, like genuinely petrified. It was crippling. I like wouldn't do anything like fun, like I'll go up and dance at camp because I was like, what if people judge me? That's horrifying. That's so scary. And I think I still care about what people think of me, but not to that extent. Like it was pretty extreme. And so I wrote judgment on my rock and I threw it in the lake, and it wasn't like an instantaneous, I no longer cared what people thought about me, but I realized as I looked back on it like a couple years later, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not nearly as afraid of judgment as I was at that time. So that was really cool just to see how God like did take that thing that was really such a big deal at that time and then helped me grow through it and helped me move past some of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that part because, we all go through so many things and we can give those to God. And you didn't feel like instantly different when you threw the rock in the lake. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm cured. No. But as you look back, you're like, oh, that was a key moment though. That something changed for me because God took that fear away.
Yeah, and I think also like the naming of it was really important in that being like, oh yeah, I am really afraid of people's judgment. Otherwise, it just kind of sits in the background. And as you were talking about last week, like if you don't name it, you can't take steps to help it. So that was really cool. But I wasn't like actively trying to be like less afraid of people's judgment. It was definitely something that God was working in my heart. Yeah. Yeah,
the healing journey is a process where God helps us, get closer and closer to healing. Yeah. All right. Is there any last thoughts that you want to share with everyone?
I think I would say, like, I guess to preface, like, I'm still a very anxious person. Super, always, wow, very anxious. Lots of social anxiety, just get really, I can't, it's really fun. But at the same time, like, I think of if you would have shown, like, me 5 years ago, a video or just, like, said what I was doing and some of the things that I've done, I would have been like, no way, that couldn't have happened. No way, Jose, like, I can't believe that. Just things like leading worship, like, that would have been unheard of. I could hardly play the piano on the stage without, like, just, I don't even, like, freezing up. Or like I have to drive to new places all the time, always by myself, with just my GPS, I would not have been able to do that. It was so scary to drive new places, especially in the winter. So, like, things may seem really, really bad right now, and they maybe are. And maybe in 5 years, you'll still be really anxious, or maybe you'll still be depressed, or maybe you'll still like struggle with some of the same things. But most likely you'll still have grown in them. And sometimes it's hard if you're sitting here in the moment being like, well, I'm still like figuring all this stuff out. I'm still struggling with this. I haven't gotten rid of it all. But taking it into perspective and seeing like, but look how much I've grown. Like, look how far I've come in that, because sometimes we don't take the time to look back on that. And in recognizing how much you've grown, also acknowledging how God has worked in all of that. Because if you just kind of block out all the bad things and you're like, well, I don't want to think about that anymore, then you also don't think about how God moved you through those bad things. And those reminders are really important in the everyday life, because God is faithful. He's the same person. He's not going to change. So if he's moved you through things in the past, if he's been there for you, if he's helped you get rid of some of your anxieties in the past, like, he's still doing that. He still will do that in the future. It's hard to see it sometimes right now in our tiny little snapshot of the present. But it's really helpful to look back and just be reminded of those things.
Awesome. Thank you, Alyssa. Let's give it up for Alyssa one more time. Thank you so much. That was really good. Yeah, you can take that one. And then Molly, I'll help you this time. I'll bring the chair closer. Last time I made you work for it. All right, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this night, for the fun that we've been able to have, for community, for friends, and for your love that is always there for us, teaching us, guiding us, and comforting us. I just pray that tonight that you would speak through me, and that my words would not be mine, but they would be your truths, and that everyone here will be able to learn more about you, learn more about your love, and be able to take steps towards healing in their mental health. And everyone said, amen. Before I get into the content, yes, I do still have more of the spicy pebbles, and I do still have more of the beef sticks. We can have some afterwards, but not right now, because I want you to focus. Some people are like, Nathan, can I have one now? And I'm like, no, then you won't be paying attention to me talking. You'll be crying, because it hurts a lot. All right, let's get into mental health. Like I said, we're in a series where we're talking all about mental health, because mental health is important, and I think we all know that. We all understand that it's a big deal, and we all, and our friends, we all need to be healing, taking steps towards healing. But how do we do that? And the first step is to just talk about it. Talk about it up here on the stage, but also for you guys to talk about it with each other. Because as Alyssa shared, she wasn't able to get help because she didn't talk about it. No one told her, hey, this is something you should probably get help with. And I know I've had many of my friends growing up struggling with mental health, and I always wanted to be able to help them. I hope that's where you guys are at too, where you see your friends maybe struggling, maybe you don't know what it is, be like, there's something going on because this isn't how they normally are, and I'm concerned. We all want to be able to help our friends. I remember I had one friend, she was extremely busy. In junior year and senior year, she did everything. She was in like the top classes. She was in key club. She did like band. She did all kinds of things. And she was so stressed because she did all of these to like the maximum level. In fact, she was so stressed that when summer came around and she didn't have these classes anymore, she didn't have these activities anymore, her body actually went through stress withdrawal. Like it had gotten addicted and used to having those stress hormones. Then when they were gone, she went through like withdrawal symptoms. Like she was that stressed. I had another friend, same thing, super busy, did a lot of things, smart classes. He was in the dance team, and he worked, and he just did 1,000 things. And so because of that, he didn't get home until late, so he wasn't able to do his homework until even later. So he stayed up super late doing his homework, and we had the same first-hour class, and it was always a gamble of whether he would be able to make it to class or not, or whether he would still be sleeping. Not because he was lazy, but because he was just that busy that he wasn't getting enough sleep. I think he would be happy if he got like 12 hours of sleep in a week or something crazy like that, where I'm like, that's how much I want to get in like one day. It's 12 hours. That'd be great. And he'd be happy if he got that for a week. So he was so stressed because he was so busy. And maybe that's you, or maybe you have your friends who are dealing with stress or anxiety or depression or all kinds of other things going on with their mental health. And so tonight, what I want us to focus on is how can we help our friends who are struggling. Now, if you're someone who's out here and you're like, Nathan, I don't want to help my friends. I want to watch them suffer. Then maybe we should probably talk about that first, about checking your heart, and like you should want to help your friends. So I'm just going to assume we all like our friends and we all want to help them when they're struggling. So how do we do that? So I want to give you guys some practical wisdom that you can use to help your friends go through their mental health. And so in the Bible, there's a book. Well, there's a couple books all about wisdom, but the most famous one is Proverbs. And Proverbs has just a bunch of little short sayings that are like little nuggets of wisdom that we can apply to our lives. So we're going to be reading a lot of Proverbs tonight, not exclusively, but mainly Proverbs. So you'll be hearing a bunch of those. So the Proverbs fans, you're welcome. All right. Everyone's like, who's a Proverbs fan? Some of your leaders. Okay. So how can we help? How can we help our friends? The first one that we can do is we can listen to our friends. We can listen to our friends. Proverbs 18, verse 2 is where we get that wisdom. And it says, fools have no interest in understanding. They only want to air their own opinions. So the Proverbs is all about being a fool or being a wise person. So the fools, they don't want to understand. They don't want to listen. They just want to say their own opinions. They just want to talk. But the wise people, they do want to understand. They want to listen. And this is extremely important with our friends. If you have a friend who's struggling with their mental health, maybe they come up to you and they say, hey, Nathan, can we talk about something? Well, they wouldn't say, call you Nathan, because that's my name. They'd say, hey, can we talk about something? I'm really struggling with this thing. You should just sit there and listen to what they have to say. Listen to what they're going through. Listen to how they're feeling. Listen to their experiences. And don't just try to fix things right away. That's what I used to do. My friends would tell me they had a problem, and I'm like, oh, I got to fix it. Okay, what can I do? What do we do? What do we do this? Do we got to eat more apples? I don't know. I wasn't an expert in mental health, so I didn't know what to do. But I was always trying to fix a solution. And A, I didn't have the answer. And B, that's not what they needed. Sometimes your friends might ask for advice. And if you have advice, go ahead and give it. Maybe you've gone through what they've gone through before and you can share that. Or you have a friend or a family member who's struggled with that and you're like, this is what they did. But in general, don't be giving people advice unless they ask for it. What a lot of people need, and this myself too, when we're struggling with mental health, is sometimes we just need to say it. Like get it off our chest, tell it to somebody. And we don't need help or action steps or advice. Just saying it is the help that we need. And someone who just sits there and listens to us can be some of the most powerful things you can do. And here's what you should say when your friend talks, all right? So they sit there, they talk, they tell you everything, and then when they're all done, you say, thanks for sharing. That sucks. Sorry you went through with that. And that's it sounds simple, but it's really important because you say, thanks for sharing. Hey, thank you for trusting me with what you were just going to say. You could have told someone else. You could have trusted someone else with this information, but thank you for sharing that with me. I know that's important. That sucks. It's saying, hey, what you just went through, it is bad. Because you could say, oh, that's not a big deal. Oh, you're just being a crybaby. Oh, just get over it. But by saying, hey, that sucks. That was a bad situation. You were agreeing with like, yep, I'm on your team. I understand. Yeah, that was a bad thing to go through. And say, sorry you went through that is basically a way of saying, I don't want that kind of thing to happen to you. I'm sad that happened to you. Versus saying, well, I'm glad that you're crying. I'm really glad that that's happening to you. That's not a good thing to say as a friend. So thanks for sharing. That sucks. Sorry you went through with that. But listening. So that's our first tip of wisdom, just to listen. The second tip on how we can help is to learn. We can learn. Again, Proverbs 18, this time verse 15. Is where we get our little nugget of wisdom. This one is, intelligent people are always ready to learn. Their ears are open for knowledge. So this proverb is telling us that it is good, it is wise for us to always be learning. And this is the same thing with mental health, right? If your friend tells you, hey, I think I've been struggling with anxiety or with bipolar, or with some eating issues. We should, as a friend, do our best to learn as much about that as we can. Now, you can always start with the internet. That's a decent place to start. There's some really useful websites. There's also some not useful websites. So that's a good place to start. But I always recommend just asking your friend what their experience is like, because they likely have already done some research. Maybe they've gone to counseling already, or you can just ask them, what does it mean for them? Because again, one person who's struggling with anxiety is going to be different than someone else. And an important thing to do with your friend is to make sure that when you say certain words, they mean the same thing. So me and my fiance, she told me I could share this information. We talk about our mental health with each other a lot. And something I've had to learn is that when I say a word, it might mean something different than when she says it. So for example, when I say, I'm feeling low, For me, that's not a big deal. I'm just like, I'm just kind of feeling low today. It's not the best day, but it could be worse. I'm feeling low. Nothing to be concerned about. But when she says, hey, I'm feeling low, for her, that means I'm having a really bad day. I am really struggling. And that's basically her way of saying, like, hey, I need some help. Can you help me through this? And I didn't know that right away. So she would say, I'm feeling low. And I go, oh, that's too bad. Because in my head, like, it's not a big deal. And she'd be like, why didn't you help me? And I'm like, oh, so we had to talk about it. I had to learn what she meant. Likewise, I've said some words that mean different things for her too. So with your friends, it's important to ask questions. Ask some questions. Hey, what does that mean for you? Hey, what does it mean when you say that you're having a rough day? Hey, what does it mean when you said that you were scared? Or what does it mean that you had trouble falling asleep? And when we ask these questions, it might also help your friend better understand themselves. Because maybe, like Alyssa, she hadn't really thought about it before. Or myself, I'd never really thought about why I act this way. And so when your friend asks you this question, then you have to think about it so you can say it to them. So asking questions can also help them better understand themselves. So we got to listen, we got to learn, and those will usually happen together. While you're listening, you'll be learning. Those can happen together. And then the third tip I've got is loyalty, is to be loyal to your friends. Proverbs 17:17 is our next verse. There it is. A friend is always loyal, and a brother is born to help in times of need, brother or sister. So what this verse is telling us is that friends are loyal, right? They're always there. They're always loving their friend. And mental health is one of those things that it takes consistency. It takes being there time after time after time. Because mental health isn't going to get fixed in one night. Your friend tells you how they feel, and the next day they're like, where do you look at that? I'm not struggling with that anymore. No, usually they're going to tell you what's going on, and that thing will still be there the next week, and the next month, and the next year as they go through this healing journey. So you might need to be a shoulder to cry on multiple times. You might need to be that person who they talk to multiple times. You might need to be the person who keeps them accountable. They're like, hey, you know what? My doctor just gave me this new medication I need to be trying, but I kind of forget to take it. You can be the friend that says, hey, have you taken your medication? Or maybe for them, they just forget to eat whenever they're anxious or depressed. So you can text them, hey, did you eat breakfast today? No, well, eat some breakfast. That's how you can be accountable. Check in on them. Let them know, hey, I care about you, and I want you to help take those steps. This might result in having some late night conversations. You're about to go to bed, and your friend starts calling you, and you know it's going to be one of those long conversations, but you care about them, and you're okay going to bed a little later to show them, hey, I'm here for you. And so being a friend during, helping a friend who's struggling with mental health takes loyalty, takes consistency over time. So those are my tips: to listen, to learn, to be loyal. Now, as I say these three things, I hope that none of these are like, wow, I never thought of that. Like most of those they make sense. Yeah, you should listen to people. Learning sounds good. Being loyal, yeah, that's a good thing. Right? These are not like, whoa, world-shaking observations. But I bring them up because do you actually do them? Do you actually do these things for your friends? When they come up to you with a problem, do you listen to them or do you talk over them? Do you actually say, oh, actually, that's me too. I got it worse. Actually, my life is worse. Or actually, I can fix it before they can even say anything. Do you listen? Do you learn or do you assume you already get it? You're like, nah, I know how depression works. I don't need to look it up. I don't need to ask them any questions. No, I got it. I'm the smartest guy here. Right? Do you actually take the time to learn and to research and ask questions? Are you actually loyal? Or is it every time they need to talk, oh, actually, no, I'm busy, though. I got to go. I got another thing. Well, I got to do my homework. Well, it's 8 p.m. I got to go to bed. Oh, which I know none of you go to bed at 8 p.m. But do you actually do these things? And I would encourage you, as I say these, which one stands out to you? Which is the one where you're like, Nathan, that's the one I should probably grow in the most? And then work on that. Actually take steps to grow in that area so we can help our friends. Now, helping our friends through the mental health is absolutely incredible, and I hope you all desire to do that. But even with these three tips, there are some things that you need to be cautious about. Because as we're helping our friends, there are ways that we could accidentally hurt ourselves. And there's ways that we could accidentally hurt our friend if we're not cautious. And so I've got 4 more little tips of wisdom, and that'll be the rest of my message. 4 cautions to help you take care of yourself and take care of your friends as you help them. And I have learned all 4 of these from experience. So know that I can tell you what happens if you don't follow these cautions. Okay. And the reason it's important that we're cautious is think about like a lifeguard. Let's say someone is in the beach, they're swimming, and they start drowning, and the lifeguard just dives in and tries to save them without bringing any flotation devices. The person who's drowning might take that lifeguard down with them. You know, if you go to Boy Scouts, I know my Boy Scouts know this, you got to take a flotation device with you to keep yourself safe and them safe. So it's important that we take these cautions for everyone's safety. So my first caution for you all to remember is that you are not a therapist. I'll say it again. You are not a therapist. I got this in Proverbs 2 as well. Proverbs 11, verse 2 tells us this: pride leads to disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. How do those two connect? As I mentioned earlier, it's important that we don't assume we know everything. That we don't assume we know as much as people who have spent decades of their life studying mental health. And you're like, no, I got it. No, I figured it out. I know everything. I can tell them exactly what to do to help. All right, you are not a therapist. It's important for you to understand where you don't know things, and it's important to understand who does know things. As you are helping your friends, if they're going something really serious, say, hey, you know what? I'm so glad that you trusted this with me, but I think you need to start talking to a professional. And I can be here with you during that process. I can help guide you through that. I can be here as just a support. And, as you go through this journey, but I think you need to talk to someone who knows more than I do. And that is a wise thing to do, to be able to point your friends to someone who might know more. Or maybe you're like, I don't know, but actually one of my leaders knows a little bit more, or one of my parents or this other adult I know, they might be able to help you a little bit more than I can. Be humble. And that's the best way you can help your friends, is by sending them to someone who can help them more than you can. That is an extremely loving thing to do, and to keep ourselves humble, right? Not be stuck in the pride and thinking I can do it all myself, because you cannot. Not yet. Maybe someday you'll be a therapist, but you're not one yet. So you're not a therapist. The second caution, and this is a big one, is you are not responsible for their actions. You are not responsible for their actions. Proverbs 13:13 gives us the wisdom here. It says, people who despise advice are asking for trouble. Those who respect a command will succeed. Your friend comes up to you. They're really struggling. Maybe they got something going on. It's a bad habit. It's an addiction, something they're doing that's causing them self-pain, and you care about them. So you give them some advice. Say, hey, you should stop doing that thing that's hurting you, or you should try to break that habit, try to get out of that cycle. And then they don't do that, and they continue to hurt themselves or continue to hurt the people around them. And a lot of the times, as the friends, we can feel responsible. Be like, I'm supposed to be helping them, and they didn't break their habit. They're still doing that thing that hurts themselves or hurts other people. It's my fault. But that's not the case. You as a friend did what you could. You gave the advice. You showed the love. You were there, time after time. But if your friends don't change, if they keep hurting themselves, that's not your fault. And that can be a big weight on our shoulders. I think that can happen a lot of times, especially when people do really serious things that hurt themselves. And you can feel like, I did that because I didn't help enough. But I want you to all be freed from the burden of other people's choices. Okay? As long as you're there and you're listening and you're doing as much as you can, you're good to go. You are not responsible for their actions. So feel freed from that tonight. Because I know that is something that I've felt before too, is feeling like, they didn't get better. I'm a bad friend. Well, that's not the case. So you are not responsible for their actions. Third one, and this is also a pretty big one. This is one that I've had to learn a lot, is that you are not unbreakable. You are not unbreakable. I think for a lot of us, I can think of just at least a couple people in this room that I know this is true. We like to help other people so we can ignore our problems. I saw that, Alyssa. I saw that. Sorry. I apologize. Okay. Nathan, I saw that. That's my problem too. Our friends are struggling, and maybe they're actually struggling with really serious stuff. And so we're like, hey, I'm going to help them. I'm going to focus on their needs. I'm going to focus on what they're going through, and then not focus on myself. I'm not going to care about my own mental health. I'm not going to talk about what I'm going through. And it is good to help our friends. It is good to make them be important in our life. But you can't help your friends if you're also struggling. Right? Imagine Our lifeguard analogy again. Someone's drowning, and the lifeguard goes in to save them, but the lifeguard doesn't know how to swim. They're not going to be able to help anybody in that situation. It's just going to make things worse. And so it's important that you take care of your own mental health too, so that you can help your friends. I learned this myself. Again, me and my fiance, we talk to each other, and sometimes when we got a rough day, we'll give each other a call. But there's been a few times where I've had to learn, where she'll say like, hey, I've had a rough day, can we talk? And I've also had a rough day, or I am at the bottom of my energy barrel. And I realized that if I did say, yeah, we can talk, that it might be helpful, but I also might get really upset, and I might snap and say something that I shouldn't. Or I just might be so tired that I'm not really thinking on what I'm saying and say something rude or unthoughtful. And so I've had to learn, actually, I can't tonight, but can we talk about it tomorrow? And like I said, loyalty is important, all right? So if you do that every single time, then, maybe you really do got to take care of yourself, or you got to find someone else that they can be supported by. But it's important that you understand when you are able to help and when you're not able to help, when you're in a good place and when you're not. So take care of yourself, because you are also not unbreakable. And as we help our friends, we do take a little bit of that on ourselves, as that empathy and sympathy as we care for the people. And if you do that too much without taking yourself, that can cause you to break, and then you're not helping anybody. You're not helping anybody that way. The verse for that one is, of course, the greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you're not loving yourself, then you're not able to love other people. So they go hand in hand. You are not unbreakable. Okay, I've got one more, and then we'll go into a time of worship. It's my last one, and this is also a big one. Weirdly enough, they're all big ones. Is that you are not their Savior. Jesus is. You are not their Savior. Jesus is. In the Bible, there's a famous guy. His name is Paul, and he started a lot of churches. And he had some other friends. Another guy named Apollos was also a leader during this time of the church. And one thing that Paul said in the letter to the Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 3:5, is he says this: after all, who is Apollos? Who is Paul? We are only God's servants through whom you believe the good news. Each of us did the work the Lord gave us. So what Paul is saying here is that he's done a lot of great things. He's said a lot of great things. But it doesn't matter who he is, because it's God working through him. It's God who's doing the saving. It's God who's doing the healing. It's God who's doing the loving. So as you go and help your friends, it is not you who heals them. It is not you who saves them, but it is God working through you. And I've had to remember this, because there's been a few times where as I help my friends, maybe there's been this one friend I've been talking to, and they've been talking to me, and I'll find out that they talked to someone else to help them. And I got jealous. I was like, you're supposed to talk to me when you have a problem. You can't talk to other people. And I had to be like, wait, hold on a minute. That's a great thing that they got help from another person too. Or I'll get mad when they're like, hey, you know what, Nathan, I was having a rough day, and I just prayed and talked to God directly. And I was like, you can't do that. You have to talk to me for your healing. And I was like, no, this is great. This is awesome that they were able to just talk to God, and God was able to work with them. So yes, it's incredible that God gets to use us to help our friends. But at the end of the day, it is God who does the healing. It is God who saves our friends. And we should be honored that God uses us, works through us in that journey. And as we help our friends, we should be pointing them towards Jesus. As they're saying, Nathan, where do you get your peace? I'm like, you know what? I get my peace from God. I pray and I read the Bible and I worship. And I have a community of friends around me, right? Point them back to Jesus, because he is the one that saves them, not us. So as we go into this time of worship, I just want to encourage you, maybe you here tonight, you've got those friends. Take care of them. Love them. Listen and learn and be loyal. But maybe you are here today and you're realizing that you've still got some stuff going on that you need to work through before you can help anybody else. I encourage you during growth group or during the hang time afterwards is to talk to your leaders, talk to your friends, and tell them what's been going on. And you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have all the right labels. But it's important that we talk to someone. And then when you do talk, I hope that your friends will then be able to listen and to help you through that process as well, as we love each other, as we listen to each other, and as we take steps towards healing. So let's pray. Dear Father, I am grateful for your love. I'm grateful for your wisdom that you give us. Let's pray for everyone here that you would open our minds and open our hearts to be able to communicate with each other, to talk to each other, to ask questions, to listen, and to be there consistently, and know that ultimately it is you who saves us and you who heals us. So pray during this worship we can connect to you, and that we can heal. We love you, Lord. Amen.
To be loved is to be loved by you. To be loved is to be loved by you. To be loved is to be loved by you. To be loved is to be loved by you. I won't worry about tomorrow, 'cause all I wanna do is know you. I won't worry about tomorrow. All I wanna do is know you. I wanna be next to you. I wanna be one with your spirit. Teach me to abide in you, to hear your voice.
Teach me to abide in you, to hear your voice all around me, your voice all around me.
Helping our friends through healing is one of the best ways that we can show them the love of Jesus Christ. That's what Jesus did when he was here on earth, is he would heal those around him. Heal them of their physical wounds, but also of their spiritual and emotional wounds too. And while we are not Jesus, we can still point them to that same love, to that same power that heals and sets us free, especially if we've experienced that ourselves, if we have found that freedom, that new life that comes from Jesus Christ. And as people ask us, what do I do? Where do I go? You can say, I don't have all the answers, but you can look to Jesus Christ. You can turn to God and he will bring you healing and freedom and love. And I don't know if all of us here in this room have found that already. If you're here tonight and you wouldn't call yourself a follower of Jesus, maybe you don't even know what that means, or maybe you've been around church, but you've never really made it your own thing. You just kind of get brought here by your parents or by your friends, but you want to make it real. If you want to make that decision to follow Jesus, to make it real, to find that healing and that freedom and that new life in Jesus Christ, you can do that right now. And you don't need to wait till tomorrow. You don't need to wait till you're smarter or older. You can do it right now, because that's all Jesus needs, is you now. And we do this every week, but it's important that we continue to make this available for our friends. So I'm going to ask all of us to close our eyes and bow our heads, so that this moment can be a private decision between you and God. You don't need to worry about other people judging you or what other people think. So if you're that person tonight, if you've never made the decision, or you want to remake it, you want to make it real tonight, I encourage you to just raise your hand right now. Just raise your hand if that's you tonight and you want to make that decision. Yes. Yes. I love that. Okay. You can put your hands down. The Bible tells us that in order to be saved, all you have to do is believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord, and then confess it with your mouth. And I'm not going to single you out like I did to my poor sister earlier, and I apologize about that. I really am sorry. So we're all going to do this together. I want you to repeat these words after me. Dear Jesus, I know I am a sinner, but I believe that you are God. I believe that you came down to earth and died on the cross for my sins and came back to life so I could have new life. And I will follow you forever. Amen. My friends, can we make some noise? As there are some people here tonight who have made an important decision. And if that was you tonight, if you made that choice, or maybe you did it before, but you've been too scared to do so, we have this little board over here where every light bulb represents one person who's made that decision to follow Jesus, to make it their own. Because now they become a light in the darkness. And so right after this, if you want to join me, we can hop on over here and you can put a light bulb in wherever you want. But we got one more tradition. I'm going to ask us all to stand up. And we're going to squish close together. Put your arms over each other's shoulders. I was going to say. And we're going to repeat these words on the screen. Take a big old step to represent us healing and our friends healing. Here we go. Each week. God loves you. Have a great week.